ton of hotkeys. Welcome to GameCheckLive. I'm Art, this is Matt. Today we're going to be looking at two apps, Ordering Chaos and Unpleasant Horse. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe or give us a thumbs up, and check out our Twitter feed at GameCheckLive.
So first up we have Ordering Chaos. It scored a 4.25 on the rating scale. Ordering Chaos is Gameloft's take on World of Warcraft for iOS. A 3-month subscription is included with the purchase of the app, but beyond that you'll need to renew your subscription to continue playing. There are 4 playable races, each with a customizable appearance, thousands of skills and items, 500 quests, and an interactive community that includes guilds. So what did you think of Ordering Chaos?
Gameloft's put up a lot of effort here. There's a lot of content in the game. There's a lot of items, a lot of spells, a lot of quests, a lot of mobs. They put forth a lot of programming.
Yeah, they really did, and it's a really large world too on top of it for an iOS game, which is pretty impressive.
It's kind of hard to get around, just like every other MMORPG at low level.
In my opinion, one of the great things about this app is that it doesn't ignore the elements of standard MMORPGs. There are chats, emotes, guilds, parties, professions. It's all there, which is really nice.
Yeah, the game can be pretty engrossing. I kind of got lost in the game a couple of times, kind of lost track of time while I was playing.
Yeah, and there are a lot of players to interact with, which is really nice. Some games you go in and the population is just dead. Right now, at least, this game is still booming, so lots of players.
There's a lot of players in there. But it does require a subscription, just like every other game like it. After your 3-month trial runs out, you're going to have to pay a subscription fee.
Right, but that subscription is relatively cheap. 3 months included, and then 99 cents a month or $3 for 6 months. So, I mean, that's not too bad in comparison to what you pay for WoW or some of those other games.
In terms of the gameplay, the interface is it's ridiculously cluttered, and the controls, while not too difficult to use, can be a little unwieldy.
Yeah, that is definitely true. That said, I think they did a good job actually getting everything into that iOS interface, because it's still a challenge. I mean, that's something really difficult to work with. So admittedly, I have to give them props for that. Also, to be fair, I played this on iPad too, aside from iPhone, and the iPad controls are perfect. It's like a whole nother game playing it on the iPad.
It really is like a whole other game on that huge screen.
But, obviously, a game like this won't have the same depth as a game like WoW. There's just no way around that.
This is going to suffer from a lot of the same pitfalls as other young MMORPGs. Like, it's just starting out, they've got to polish out some of the kinks. The starting areas are a little cluttered. There's a few mechanical imbalances that need to be worked out here and there. And actually playing on the iPod or the iPhone, the screen is small, but the attention to detail is necessary, you know, like when you're fighting mobs. So it can cause a certain amount of eye strain if you play for an extended period of time, and, you know, because you're looking at such a small interface trying to see this big world. But in the end, what'd you think?
You know, I'm pleased with this MMO's transition to iOS, so I think I'm going to give this a check plus.
Well, I like the adaptation. And I like the idea of being able to play it on my iPod or my iPhone. I don't actually see myself playing it on my iPod or my iPhone as much as you would expect, because it is the kind of game environment that deserves a big screen, lots of real estate, and especially a ton of hotkeys to respond as quickly as possible. So, although I like the execution, I'm still going to have to go ahead and pass. I'm going to give it a check.
Alright, that's fair. I think it might make a difference if you played it on the iPad, but definitely for the iPhone, I can see why you'd say that. This app is a mostly successful attempt to bring an MMORPG to iOS. Inevitably, the app struggles a bit to maintain some of the control and camera angle complexities of a game with this much detail and depth. This game won't replace WoW or other PC-based MMORPGs, but it does offer a mobile substitute.
Alright, the next app we're going to be taking a look at today is a little thing called Unpleasant Horse. Got a score of 2.5 on the rating scale. Unpleasant Horse is a casual, non-traditional platformer. Basically, it's kind of a sadistic game. You play a rather unpleasant horse. Your goal is to jump from cloud to cloud and onto the backs of other cuter horses, and your weight on their back will cause them to fall until finally they land in a meat grinder that they get chopped up in. And basically, you jump from cloud to cloud and horse to horse, and then jump through birds, trampling birds in the air to gain extra jumps. And the more horses that you end up grinding up in the meat grinder, the higher your score. This game isn't exactly a release from PopCap, but it is a release from their 4th and Battery division. I think there's a story about the creation.
So yeah, there is an interesting story behind this app. It kind of is brought to you by PopCap Games, the people who brought you Plants vs. Zombies and Peggle. It's the direct result of an in-house event called Game Jam, where employees formed small teams, drew randomly generated names from a hat, and tried to complete a game in 24 hours based on that name. So what did you think of the game?
Visually, I liked it. It's cute, but like in a dark way.
Yeah, the game's kind of sadistically amusing.
The gameplay, I've got my reservations about. It's simple, quick and easy to understand controls.
Yeah, but it's a little bit too simple. Once you have the game figured out, it's not about skill anymore. It's about dumb luck more than anything else.
The game is kind of about dumb luck, with kind of blind jumping. But it is a free app, so...
Yeah, but those two things combined, being too simple and relying on dumb luck...
Yeah, and there's no Game Center support, so you can't really compare how far you got with your friends. Which, in a game this simple, that's based purely on a random jumping and some arbitrary high score, I mean, that's really all you'd want to do anyway.
Yeah.
I gave this game a check minus. I liked the visuals. I thought it was kind of sadistically fun to play, but unfortunately I felt that there wasn't enough meat to the game, and I don't really like blind jumping, so I went ahead and gave it a check minus. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to give this game a check minus too. Even though the game itself is free, I don't think there's that much to enjoy here other than maybe some of the artwork and sound effects themselves.
Basically, the game itself isn't worth the praise that it's been getting. Its origin might be, but the game itself probably isn't. You might get a few minutes of sadistic pleasure, but really not much more than that. The game is free. So if sending horses down to the meat grinder sounds like fun, then there's no harm in downloading.
Follow us on Twitter at GameCheckLive. You can follow us individually at @Matt and @GameArtistry. Don't forget to subscribe up top, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below.
Be sure to go ahead and throw your own opinions in the comments, or leave the names of any apps that you'd like us to review in the future. And we'll see you next time on GameCheckLive. Haven't you owned that same shirt for like 10 years now?
Yeah. How did you know that?
Who am I to talk? Hotkeys, 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 hotkeys.
And don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below. Just sounds dirty.
Hotkeys, hotkeys. I had to start the whole thing over. Thanks a lot. Hotkeys, hotkeys.
I know how to accompany the douche noise. I was thinking the same thing.
That was pretty well done. I think you should do the next one. Hotkeys, hotkeys.